Hey everybody, my name is Byron and I am an AI engineer. One question I get a lot as an AI engineer is, this is great technology, but how am I going to use this in my own company? What can I actually use this for besides just using ChatGPT? And that is a very good question, a very fair question. But I'm going to dispel some of that today and hopefully give you some advice and some pointers on what you can do to identify use cases for generative AI apps. Now, before we get started, I have to just answer a question. What is generative AI? What am I even talking about when I say generative AI, not just AI? What I mean is anything that generates text, images, videos, or something else, anything that creates those things based on the information that you're giving it. So that's what I'm talking about when I say generative AI. I'm talking about things like if you use ChatGPT, that's generative AI. So if that gives you some as kind of a frame of mind, that will be helpful here. Okay, let's talk about the first great use case, and that is anytime you have text to text. So ChatGPT, you enter in text, you get out text. Anytime you have to have some text and you have to do something as a result of it, that's a great use case. The sweet spot here, the sweet spot of text-to-text use cases is boring, tedious tasks that require a human to ingest information to accomplish a task. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, think of any time where you're sitting down at your desk or you're out and about doing your job and you suddenly have to read something. You have to read something and you go, okay, based on what I'm reading, I am going to go do this or this. Now that is a great chance for a generative AI use case, okay? So anytime you're reading something and you go, okay, now I know what to do, I have to go do this. That's a great use case, okay? Here are some examples of text-to-text use cases. Okay, the first one's a chatbot. We're all familiar with chatbots. Customers type something, they hit enter. Now, usually a human would have to read that and then, okay, I'm gonna come up with a response. Not anymore. You can use generative AI for that. Responding to reviews. Again, you have a product out there, you get a review, you go, oh, okay, I read this review, I'm gonna write a response to this review. Again, great use case for text to text. Email, same thing. You read an email, you have to write a response. Another opportunity to use text to text and generative AI. Writing, this is great. Writing reports. You have all this information, you read all these books, you read all these web pages or Wikipedia, whatever it is, and you go, okay, now I need to write a report based on this information. That's a great opportunity. Again, you just throw all that stuff in, and out comes a report. Writing code, if you're a developer. Writing code, if you're a developer, this is another great opportunity for you to use generative AI. And if you haven't been using ChatGPT to help you write some code, I highly recommend starting with simple code ideas and putting it in and just seeing what you get out. Start playing with that. Summarizing is so great. Just you will have a whole article of pages or a page of articles. Just highlight the whole thing, throw it in, say summarize this. Again, if a human did that, they'd have to read everything, right? They're taking something they read and they say, now I'm going to go write this summary. And that is exactly what generative AI can do so easily for you. Okay, and the last one, this is a personal favorite of mine, is brainstorming. This is so fun. You can just type in whatever you want. Say, I have this idea, I want to do this. What do you think? Give me 3 ideas that are kind of like this, or tell me how this is a good plan or a bad plan. You just throw it in there. And then it comes back with this great information, these great, little insights, if you will. And it is so helpful. So again, anytime a human has a task where they have to read something to come out and then produce something as a result of what they read, that is a great use case for generative AI. Okay, I'm going to have one more example here of a great opportunity, and that is reasoning. Reasoning is a great use case for generative AI. A lot of times you'll hear this called agents, and I'll talk more about this in another video in more detail. But for now, if agents just sounds like a weird jargony word, because it is, then think of reasoning as your opportunity here to find use cases. What's the sweet spot for reasoning? It's a task that has specific steps that are not performed in any particular order. Okay, that sounds like a little bit much. Let's break that down a little bit. So think about a task that you have where you have some steps, but maybe you perform those steps here and there. Maybe you have to backtrack and do another step 1 again before you can go on to step 2 and step 3. Or maybe you have this special step that only comes in certain times. That is a great chance for a generative AI to come in and help out. Let's talk about some concrete examples though. And actually, funny enough, we're going to be using the same examples that we were using before. So this will be interesting. In a chatbot, okay? A chatbot, maybe the chatbot needs to answer a variety of customer questions. Maybe it has to be something about product information. Maybe it has to be about recent orders and about refunds. A chatbot can do this because these are varying steps, right? If a person types in, hey, what's the status of my order? Then the chatbot needs to go and figure it out. It has to go, well, to do that, I need to have an order ID, and I need to know, which customer this is. So let me go check this customer's order history first and see if I can identify which order we're talking about here. Okay, this is what a human would have to do, right? So we go and check it out. And these are, by the way, these steps are very clearly defined. Okay, that's kind of the key here. It's not just coming up with some subtask that you have to go do something. You have to be creative at the moment. No. These have to be very clearly defined steps. So somebody asked about a recent order. Well, I have to go look up their history and see if I can find the order. If they have 2 orders, I have to go back and say, which order are you talking about here? I have this one and I have that one. So these are all very clearly defined steps that you can define in each one of these scenarios. And a chatbot can do that. The generative AI app can totally do that. Okay, writing. We talked about writing reports. Well, maybe I have to look at multiple data sources, but maybe not all of my data sources. Say I need to do a web search, or say I need to look at our company database, or say I have to go to a certain website and get some information off of it. Or maybe I have to do one of those things, or maybe I do have to do all 3 of those things. So you gather all that information up, you know where you need to go, and once you have enough information to write that report, then you can go and write it. So that's another great reasoning opportunity there. And of course, we're going to use the last one, brainstorming. Now, maybe with brainstorming, you need this bot or this AI to go and research information about a topic before providing new ideas. Okay, so maybe it has to do a web search, maybe it has to look into a book, maybe it has to look at some company data. I don't know, whatever it may be in your case. And then it has to come back and say, well, here's what I found. So here would be some good ideas. Or you wanted to do this idea, but it might be better to do this because of X, Y, and Z. Again, clearly predefined steps are necessary here, but not necessarily the order of those steps. And the AI can figure those out, can reason for itself to determine these are the steps. Here's my available steps. Here's the one I'm going to take next to perform this task. They are incredible at that. So there are a couple ways to identify use cases for generative AI apps. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Byron. I make videos like this every single week. And if you are like this video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.